Physiotherapy as a profession was imported into Nigeria in the year 1945 to treat injured and disabled soldiers following the Second World War, after which it was started as a course of study. In the recent years, physiotherapy has gained more recognition and people are getting more informed. But yet, many people are still ignorant of this profession, with the popular misconceptions of physiotherapy being a massager or an orthopedic doctor, to mention a few. This video has not just discussed what physiotherapy is all about as a course or a profession, but also the early life of a physiotherapy graduate in Nigeria. In this video, I met a recent graduate of physiotherapy.
I'm PT Abba Zanna Mustafa. I was the former President National Association of Physiotherapy, University of Maiduguri chapter. I did my internship in Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Teaching Hospital in Bauchi, and I'm currently a serving corps member in Jigawa.
So if you are an aspirant or a student of physiotherapy, or you're just willing to know what physiotherapy is all about, this video is for you. Without any further delay, let's go into the video proper.
So actually, one of the reasons that makes me see you being fit for this video is the fact that most of the time when you post stuff, I see the passion, and that would take me to the first question, what is that thing motivating, or what is that thing that motivated you to study physiotherapy?
Well, I had the motivation to actually study physiotherapy because physiotherapy has a versatility, and it has the ability to actually bring people together, and also it has the ability to actually touch every aspect of human life. Initially, I was admitted to medicine and surgery.
Well, let me get it. You were admitted to study medicine and surgery?
Yes.
Wow.
But then I swapped to study physiotherapy, and you can able to ask me the reason. I can able to give you a genuine answer. Why? Because I just realized that physiotherapy is one of the profession that focuses on using physical modalities and techniques to actually provide with optimum care to patients, and they don't use drug in particular. We are using physical approaches.
So the non-pharmacological approach.
Exactly. And if you can put it into a proper perspective, I think there is no profession that is more rewarding and incredibly satisfying like physiotherapy, because it's your hand that you apply in order to treat the patient. So having the skills to actually provide such a change is a great and incredible contribution to the society. That was the motive I had to study.
That's great. Do you know, this is actually the first time I'm listening to such story. People you are admitted to study MBBS, and you deliberately choose to become a physiotherapist.
Exactly.
That is, in fact, this is passion at the highest order. Seriously. I could remember some months ago.
Yes.
We were with our GST's instructor for entrepreneur, and the man asked us which department are you from. So we said physiotherapy. So the next thing he said was, wow, great massager. So, and that is what everybody have, the notion that everybody have a great massager.
Exactly.
So what exactly is physiotherapy as a course all about? What is it? What does it entail?
Physiotherapy in a nutshell is all about, it is, let me say, a dynamic healthcare profession with an established scientific and theoretical base and widespread clinical application in the restoration and maintenance of optimal physical function of a patient with a condition ranging from orthopedic, musculoskeletal or sport, neurology, cardiopulmonary, medicine, mental health, obstetric and gynecology, women's health, and etc. Now, it's all about the use of hand, the use of your technique, physical approaches in treating patients. The only difference between the medical profession and physiotherapy is all about they are using chemotherapy, they are after prescription of drugs, pharmacotherapy, and etc. And physiotherapy in particular is a kind of physical medicine. You use physical approach rather than using drug. That is the only difference. But we have so many conditions under so many specialties that physiotherapy is actually required in rendering care, optimum care. They do assist, medical profession do assist, and we also assist. They give diagnosis, we also diagnose. They give prognosis, also prognose, and give plan, care, and everything. That is the only difference. That is it. Just a physical medicine.
So, in general, now, as a physiotherapist, you are not a massager. So, if I could understand what you've said very well, but massaging is kind of is part of the modalities you use. As in, let me say, can I say we?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because if you don't know, probably you don't know. As
yeah, I understand.
The person behind the channel, I'm also a student of physiotherapy. So, if I use the word we, you should understand what I'm trying to say. So it means like as a physiotherapist, massaging is part of the modalities, but we are not massager.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is not just the misconception. Other people are also considering physiotherapists as orthopedic doctors or bone healers and etc. And some people are seen as if we're using magics to treat. But the reality is that physiotherapy is actually a physical medicine. It has a scientific base and a theoretical base. Everything we do is based on clinical evidence and everything. So we use our clinical experience and expertise to actually assess patient, evaluate, examine, prognose, diagnose, and actually plan a care to a particular patient. Medical professional, after treating the pathology. Now let's say I have a stroke. A stroke patient needs to be treated by a medical professional first, using some chemotherapy approaches, drugs, and etc. But then killing the pathology doesn't warrant the patient to actually go back to his activities of daily living, for him to participate within his communities. It is only a physiotherapist at this point that will come and actually pick the patient up, give him hope, restore him from a dependent life to independent life, from nothing to something, and from zero to health. So what we do, it's more of scientific approaches. We have base, we have theoretical evidences and everything. Now, it's a surprising to see a patient that has stroke, and all our thinking was that patient that had stroke cannot be able to recover fully. But then with the knowledge of science and physiotherapy approach, we can be able to rehabilitate that patient back. It's all about facilitating a process called the neuroplasticity. It works based on the analogy that it is weak enough to change, but strong enough not to yield a positive result at once. That's the brain. The weak point of the brain is that it can change. But then the brain is made in such a way that it has it is strong-headed in such a way that it cannot change on time. So what we normally do are those mobilization, passive movement, and etc. PNFs is what we are actually doing to facilitate what we call the neuroplasticity. And that is it. We are not using magic, not just a branch of medicine. It's a physical medicine. That is it.
Earlier you said about the fact that you were given admission to study MBBS, why you decided to choose physiotherapy as a profession. Now, before going in details about life after studying physiotherapy in the university, do you ever regret that action? Like maybe after you are done, like you are inducted into the profession of physiotherapy, do you ever regret the action of you rejecting admission offer MBBS to study physiotherapy?
Well, I don't think I have a point where I regretted coming to physiotherapy, because I discovered so many things before swapping into physiotherapy. Though I had so many fruitful conversations from my parents and other dignitaries coming to me, telling me that I should study medicine rather than physiotherapy. But then what I discovered was that why should I study medicine when I have something that is even more satisfying than medicine? Let's take an example. A religious somebody, be it a Muslim or a Christian, cannot be able to pray 5 daily prayers, a Muslim, or let's say a Christian that cannot be able to go to a church because of a condition that is actually debilitating. Maybe let's say diabetes or any other form of endocrine or neurologic condition that is actually the conditioning patient. Medication alone cannot bring back the patient into the society. But then physiotherapy can do that. And the reward you get is that if you rehabilitate a patient and goes back to his religion, the more he attends to church, the reward is actually coming not for you alone, not to the patient alone, I mean, but to you also. And then let's say performing daily prayers, for each and every prostration and movement, you must get a reward.
What does the life after physiotherapy depends on? Like, what I mean is it depends on the grade you passed out with, or probably the higher institution you attended, I mean the university you attended, or what exactly does it depend on?
There are a lot of things that should be considered. Not just graduating with CGPA points, but then your clinical experience and expertise matters a lot. As you can see, regardless of other professions that comes to the teaching hospital at their clinical basis, physiotherapy are even coming to the teaching hospital at 300 level. This is showing you that about 70% or 60% of the course of study is all about clinical expertise and experience. So for you to fit for life after physiotherapy, fit somebody, you need to actually have clinical experience and expertise.
Being the first thing a student of physiotherapy should take note.
Yes, exactly. And then basic knowledge of anatomy and physiology. In fact, during our time we studied at our 200 level, we were posted to cross anatomy. That is to say, like medical student, that is what they did, and we also did the same, because out of all the professions, there is no single profession that utilizes knowledge of anatomy and physiology much like physiotherapy. So everything you do it is as if you're seeing the individual internally. So if you don't have that background knowledge of anatomy and physiology, it seems like you are a quack practicing in the community. Exactly. And apart from background knowledge of anatomy and physiology, pathogenesis of condition is very important, because if you don't know the pathogenesis of a certain condition, you cannot be able to provide a diagnosis and then plan a treatment as well. So knowing the anatomy, physiology, pathogenesis of that condition is actually important, and then in cooperation with your clinical expertise and experience, that is what is all required.
They used to tell us in the department that after graduation, there might not be competition of grade within physiotherapy profession. Like maybe I have a first class, you have a second class.
Yes.
So what do you have about that? Like what do you have to say about that?
I made mention of CGPA the last time, and what I want to emphasize is that having a great CGPA means nothing here in Nigeria, because you all graduate with pass, be it in any institution. But then if you want to widen your study, maybe let's say abroad, you want to go and maybe widen your study to have maybe MSc, they will actually first of all see your CGPA point. Somebody with CGPA of second class lower is actually different compared to somebody with second class offer. And in that case, the expected duration of year of study that you as second class holder will actually be less compared to somebody with third class and sundry others. That is it. So having CGPA is actually important.
I think this is one of the questions that people would like to hear, especially those people that are new graduates or people that are waiting to be a graduate, final year student, I mean. So like in Nigeria of today, as a physiotherapy graduate, how do you get a placement or internship?
The requirement is for you to graduate from a recognized and accredited institution within Nigeria. We have them a lot: University of Maiduguri, University of Ibadan, Bayero University, Kano. So if you graduated from
including the private universities.
And the second thing is for you to look for places where the management is looking for interns. How will you do that? Sometimes somebody has ambition to do internship from the institution in which he graduated from. But this is actually a kind of setback for a graduate to be waiting for a particular institution to call him for an interview. But then immediately after your graduation, there are institutions left unknown that are actually searching for graduates, especially that of physiotherapy, because we are low density populated. If not because of these years that we are graduating much. Before having an internship, it will not be an issue for physiotherapy students. But even as of now, if a graduate will not put the need to wait for an internship program from the institution he graduated from, he can get so many places outside, and you'll be able to communicate with a friend of you maybe from different states that please let him consult for you their own institution if they are requiring internships.
Now, like to get the placement, does it require exam? Like you have to sit for an exam?
Well, it depends on the institution. Like the institution I had my internship, they sat me for an interview, and then some of the institutions where some of my friends went to, they are not, there are no any interviews. Like the University of Medical Teaching Hospital, they don't do any advert, no interview. It's all about your certificates, your qualifications, and everything. This will give you the freedom of securing internship. But other places like ATBU Teaching Hospital, like I said, we sat for an interview. They asked us so many questions related to our profession and outside question and general question, including current affairs and etc.
Me, I used to, the way I picture intern, like I picture it like something where a program whereby you'll be under someone and you will be asked to do this, do that. You are dependent on someone, maybe other physiotherapists. Is it that you are there to learn, or you are there to work with people that are there?
Internship is a kind of a continuation of your program. Okay. It is not a place where you just go and work and earn salary, but then you're posted to again practice what you study. It will give you the autonomy and the privilege to work under somebody's supervision, especially your unit heads where you're posted to, and the head of department as well. So at that point, you don't have the autonomy to practice freely like that. Somebody
independently.
Yes, somebody is actually supervising you, and it's part of, like I said, continuation of your studies. Immediately after graduation, what you go for is the internship, and without which you cannot be able to go for NYC. And so during the internship, it's actually a kind of a hot cake, because all the works, everything, patient comes in, what you are expected to do is for you to come and assess the patient and meet your supervisor and tell him this is a condition of so. He has a suspected diagnosis of so. And I planned treatment as follows. So your supervisor must have actually go through. Yes. Then if there are things that he should add, he will definitely going to add. You can also incorporate research, not just learning from your supervisors, but then you can create your own personal time where you'll be searching, studying textbooks and etc. Of which during your academic stay, you must not have that time to actually do so. So if you can utilize 1 year internship to learn from your supervisor and also to go through researches, you definitely make it.
How well, should I ask how well? Okay, let me just ask it like this. Like, what is the range of salary that an intern physiotherapy have in Nigeria?
Yeah, this is actually a very important question that people need to know, because sometimes even if you don't have the zeal to study, when you heard about the salary scale and everything, it will actually give you the motive to study hard and make it. And physiotherapy now, we are still having the same salary scale with other few professions, and the range of salary is that with the recent increment of hazard allowance, an intern physiotherapist is earning nothing less than a range between 150,000 naira to kind of 165,000.
So within 150,
yes, to 165 in most institutions. But in institutions where they are placed in an unskilled environment, like the University of Medical Teaching Hospital now, they are earning a salary of nothing less than 197 to nothing much than 200,000 naira.
So that because of the insecurity. Like University of Medical.
Yes, exactly.
What are the challenges that you think a graduate of physiotherapy might face after school, like going into the world as a graduate of physiotherapy?
The first challenge is actually securing the internship placement. Why? Because we are now densely populated profession. Before, like past 3 to 5 years, you cannot get more than 1,000 physiotherapists in Nigeria. But now the number is actually escalating.
Due to the increase in number of universities offering physiotherapy.
And students actually showing interest in studying physiotherapy. Before, there is no proper awareness, but now everybody is actually willing and deciding to join the profession, and this has led to an increase in population. So anytime when there is increase in population, job securement, and I mean for you to secure job, and then not just job, even this internship would actually be a kind of a big deal. And there's way we can do to actually curtail these incidents from happening. As I said, is for you to actually not wait for the institution you graduated from. for them to call you for internship. You need to search for other places. Exactly. Like now, the recently hatched student of ours, I think they can get internship almost everywhere because of long-awaited strike and everything. There are institutions that actually badly and desperately looking for interns. So the more they apply, the more they are called. But two challenges during the course of practice. There is this rivalry between us and medical profession, of which everybody knows. The rivalry, we should not just take or feel bad of it. We should work in harmony with them because most of the things we do is multidisciplinary approach, and they are also required. We are also required, but then we should maintain a neutral stand. There will be a lot of challenges after graduation regarding this rivalry icon that I'm talking about, especially with the medical profession.
How easy do you think is it for a graduate of physiotherapy to secure a job? Though you talked about it earlier, but
yes,
I,
exactly.
I just want
you to emphasize exactly. This is a very important question. It's a kind of not easy and not difficult, but it's really moderate. Now, job in Nigeria is all about godfatherism, but then physiotherapy is one of the most wanted professions. I don't think this will be an issue for a graduate searching for job and getting difficulty in securing that job. But then, if you know what you are doing, you must actually be called for interview, and if you can be able to withstand that interview and give what is expected of you, you'll be employed definitely. You have so many places in Nigeria where you can be able to work. One of them is the educational institutions, universities, etc., where they are offering physiotherapy as a course. You can serve there, you can teach physiotherapy as a job. One of the most important institutions where we are expected, sector where we are expected, is the health sector. Health institutions like hospitals, federal medical centers, and etc. Physiotherapists are always required. And one of the most wanted profession outside the countries is now physiotherapy. Why? Because policies are being made in such a way that developed countries, they no longer want to use drug because of its side effects, because of drug resistivity, and etc. Now they're looking for other means of treating themselves, and one of the means is physiotherapy. So countries like United Kingdom, London, Canada, Australia, US, and etc. are badly in need of physiotherapy. So in fact, I know physiotherapists that graduated from the same institution with me, now practicing in abroad. There are more than 20, I know.
What is your general advice for students of physiotherapy?
Nothing good comes easy. We need to definitely work for it. It's all about dedication, consistency, and perseverance. We need to work hard to achieve this dream, not just getting the fruitful aspect of the profession, but if you didn't work for it, you'll never achieve the goal. And not just working, not just hard work, you need to also pray. Because I know of a philosopher that used to say, success is directly proportional to hard working, provided that prayers remain constant. You need to incorporate hard working and prayer at the same time for you to achieve that goal. The hard working I emphasizing on has to do with your clinical experience and expertise, for you not to be quack, know what you are doing, and then the prayers will actually help you in achieving your dream.
This will be the end of the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel before you go, because we are going to be coming up with a lot of other amazing videos. See you in another interesting one. Bye for now.